Hello and welcome back to Chasing the Target. It's me and Faiz today discussing cricket. First of all, we'll have to address the news of Rishabh Pant. Wishing him a speedy recovery. He got into an accident on the way to Delhi from Uttarakhand, and it was a very freak accident. And he hit the divider, I think. And he is stable. That's the good news. He is stable, but there's quite a few injuries. I think he tore a ligament in his knee, and also he's got some burns on his back. There's a lot of photos being circulated, but instead of that, I would just recommend that just pray for him and his family, and hope he does well. Faiz, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, I definitely woke up to a very big shock. I know, it was also upsetting to see because knowing that he was getting back into form, finally feeling his old self once again, and knowing that it was also sad that he was going to go surprise his mother apparently for New Year's. That's why he took the by road thing, and yeah, the unfortunate incident. He does have a ligament tear, like you said. He also has two deep cuts on his forehead, some cuts on his wrist, and also I think a few scar burns on the back. So yeah, it's not looking very good. But yeah, right now, as you mentioned, he is stable. He was taken to multiple hospitals. In initially उसको सक्षम हॉस्पिटल को लेके गए थे जहाँ पे initial जो भी treatment कर सके. Then now right now he's in Max Hospital Dehradun, where he's now being observed. But yeah, like the president did mention that they're doing whatever they can to give him support, and yeah, condolences to his family and stuff, man.
Main thing is he's stable, and now it's just recovery process. We just can pray for him because these things are very freak accidents, and you can't do much about it, and you just have to pray for him. The good thing is that he's okay. He's talking as well. That's what the doctor was saying. So wishing him the best. That's all we can do, and pray for him, and that's it. Just hope everything is good for him and his family. Also, it's very shocking, right, for the family. Subah something like that happens. It's very disturbing, and yeah, man, hopefully we see him back in the cricket field. It's happened with players before. Nicholas Puran got into a freak accident and he was bedridden, and then he came back. So as soon as possible, we hope to see him back at the cricket ground. But before that, hopefully his recovery process is smooth and everything goes well.
Yeah,
Uh,
completely.
Yes, I'm moving on to the cricket. New Zealand, Pakistan. I mean, a lot of people are saying why Babar dangled a carrot, this and that. It was a very safe declaration. There was nothing in it. It was very stupid, in my opinion, because actually New Zealand, if the light was okay, they would have gone even closer and maybe would have won the game. So from Pakistan side, it was a stupid declaration. They were never going to win this Test match from that position, and they should have just batted it out, or yeah, like there was no point of that declaration. I feel you can say, oh, exciting cricket, but you have to be smart. What if they lost the game? What if there was sun in the last few overs and उन्हें लेथम आके पकड़ के अगर फोड़ दिया तो फिर क्या करते थे? Like then you'll again start criticizing this and that. So I think ridiculous move from Babar there just before the end of day's play.
If you've seen बाबर का जो रिएक्शन था शुरू के 4 ओवर में, उन्होंने बहुत स्माइल कर रहे थे, उन्होंने बहुत ज्यादा खुश थे अपने डे में, बहुत बड़ा काम कर दिया. जहां लेथम उठा के निकल के आके मारा एक दो चौबे दो, आई थिंक वसीम जूनियर को, वहां पे उनका स्माइल शुरू हो गया. एंड एक थर्ड मैन पे चौवा गया था जहां पे इमाम उल हक खड़ा था, एंड ही इमीडिएटली स्विच्ड इमाम उल हक. He said, नहीं वजीर है, I don't know who वजीर is, but he said वजीर है, तू जा, इमाम इधर आ. उनकी फट गई थी भाई. तो आप ऐसे डिसीजन लेना ही कहीं क्यों जब आपकी फुल थ्रॉटल bowling side नहीं है. Why are you challenging this bowling side of yours, which is not even potentially your first team, right? तो मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया जब आप ऐसा एक्सपेरिमेंट करने जा रहा हूँ, which is ridiculous. You need to take into consideration a certain factors. थोड़े चीज़ें जैसे आपकी पूरी टीम नहीं खेल रही, इनएक्सपीरियंस बच्चे हैं, 37-year-old लोमान को फाइन लेग पे या थर्ड मैन पे डाल के बैठे हुए भाई. that doesn't make sense to me. And Bracewell luckily out हो गया because the ball stayed low. वरना Bracewell का we know he can hit a few big ones, and that's why he was promoted up the order. Devon Conway and Latham almost 16, what they had 8-9 overs, 7 or 8 overs remaining. कर सकते भाई, ये दोनों भी आईपीएल खेलते, T20 खेलते, so you never know.
और वो
But
भी पूरा फील्ड खोल दिए, मतलब डिफेंसिव, और फिर बोल रहे कि हम लोग गोइंग फॉर द विन. कहां से पिंडा गोइंग फॉर द विन? इट वाज जस्ट, आई डिडंट अंडरस्टैंड दैट डिक्लेरेशन.
it is a good attempt, I would say. I mean, no, like it's just a good way to think that chalo he's learning from different captains, like from Ben Stokes and stuff. मैं समझ सकता हूँ. I know, okay, bhai, it will be it's a very retarded kind of a freak kind of thing. Maybe 10 over, 5 over, 8 over, dete, something like that. Maybe then okay, fine, your odds would be better. But I do also see it like this, that he is trying to change the thought process from conventional cricket. That is one thing I'm seeing, and I'm appreciating that point only. I know it is a freak thing, but yeah, it will take time, man. So I think at least it's a start. And देखते हैं अगर going forward he tries to, because he did try to spice it up. But yeah, with that bowling attack, the only thing was that for me, the bowling attack was not strong enough to have a
But
gamble.
back in the mind, he knew, like that it was gonna get dark. He had his fast bowlers to slow down the game. He knew it was gonna be a draw. Like he knew ki.
He didn't. He knew he was confident, but अगर मैं वही बोल रहा ना, smile निकल गई उनकी,
हाँ,
कर रहे
निकल
थे,
गई। बट
नहीं
बैक
फट
ऑफ
गई
द माइंड
उनकी.
मालूम था कि भाई अंदर, मेरे को भी लाइक मालूम था कि ये ओवर पूरे खत्म नहीं होंगे. इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू
Hmm.
हैपन. लाइक देयर वाज जस्ट, इफ
Yeah.
यू लुक वहां पे 5:15 5:20 मैच खत्म हो गया. 5 o'clock को यू कुड ऑलरेडी सी द सन कमिंग डाउन. सो देयर वाज नो वे द फुल overs would have been done. So I just felt that,
We have Ibrahim Bhai joining us, so, and Ibrahim Bhai says, yeah, hopefully, man, Pant ka jo accident tha, that definitely, we all are with him in his prayers, and, definitely would really want him to come back to his full fitness, not, sort of, jaldi nahi karna hai recovery, take his sweet time, abhi bhi 25 hai, he has enough time, but yeah, just hopefully all the injuries get back.
yeah, well, just want him to be feeling good, and like everything is okay with him, and yeah, the thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. Yeah, so I
100%.
was saying over there कि like नहीं था यार, there was no scope for anything apart from a draw at that time. वो डर गए थे because New Zealand went for it, but even then, like क्या हुआ, अंधेरा हो गया. It was, he knew that कि भाई, he just wanted something to say in the press conference कि look, we went for the, we dangled a carrot and this and that. अगर dangle करना था तो you should have smashed it earlier. You should have gone for it, gotten all out, and
भाई साहब, उनका कैरेट एंगल हो गया था उनकी इनिंग्स में, जब दो बैक टू बैक विकेट लिए, तो उनका कैरेट हिल गया था एकदम.
वही बोल
उनका
रहा हूँ
क्या,
कि लाइक उसका
अगर
कुछ था
सर,
ही नहीं. मैं बोला इन्हें क्या प्रूव करना चाह रहा है, एनीवे ड्रॉ होने वाला है. एंड नाउ दे एक्चुअली, it gives their bowlers less confidence going into the second test match, because New Zealand dominated this. We are all saying ki if they had the full quota of overs, maybe New Zealand could have won the game. So what does that mean? New Zealand were the better team in the test match, despite losing the toss, despite conceding 400 in the first innings. So overall क्या होता है, Pakistan's image looks bad, and they will go under, with less confidence going into that second test match. It will be New Zealand who's saying, "Bhai, we almost won that game. Let's attack them even more." And someone like Abrar Ahmed, you put him in a difficult situation. The commentators are saying, "Ki bhai, this is a good test for him with the one day coming up." And वो ball अलग रहते, pitches अलग रहते, conditions अलग रहते. यहाँ पे test match की wicket चल रही, test match का ball है, it's different. So you should have been a bit more smarter with that call. लेकिन you have to, tip your hats off to New Zealand. I felt they should have done better with the ball today. They could have won this test match if they
cleared
bowled
up the
better
tail.
in the first session and second session. Lekin that pitch, it wasn't, like I said, it was slow turn. It wasn't that exaggerated turn that you normally see. And yeah, but they did try their best in the end. I think Latham batted beautifully. Some of his shots through mid wicket were sublime. Also Conway, some brilliant batting as well. So they
Reverse
tried
sweep
their
four, man. That reverse sweep four that he hit it out middle of the bat.
middle of the bat, through square leg and fine leg, right, at that time. But yeah, overall it was a great try in the end. Lekin they should have bowled better, I felt, and fielded a
Yeah,
bit better.
I
And
think when Imam ul Haq got out back to back, दो विकेट गिरे देखो इन लोग के. That was where that they had Aga Salman had fallen and Imam ul Haq had fallen, I think.
Hmm.
And then came Shahid Shakil as the savior. Initial savior was Sarfaraz when Noman Ali and Ila जल्दी जल्दी निकल गए in the early hours. वहां पे भी बैंक नहीं करे. Sarfaraz played a brilliant knock. He didn't look this time. He didn't look that nervous as he was in the first innings. Quite good shots, sweep shots. ये वो अच्छे मार रहा था. I think that helped him a lot. The way he got out again, got tricked again to that outside of edge. फिर he went for the leap and he gave away a catch. But Aga Salman, the innings that he played, and Wasim Jr., the innings that he played. Sorry, Saud Shakil and Mohammad Wasim. These two people stood firm for Pakistan. And I think अगर वहां पे एक आध कोई क्लिक कर लेता था ना, शाहिद शकील का भी एक कैच ड्रॉप तो नहीं बोल सकते, टफ था, ब्रेसवेल sort of missed it. But yeah, New Zealand did have their chances, to be very fair. New Zealand could have capitalized on those wickets. and sort of added pressure. But वही हुआ ना, जैसे अपन बोले, they didn't spice up the field again. वो घुस के नहीं, वो तो मतलब घुस के गरम कर देना मसला,
मगर
तो
पिच भी
प्रेशर
उतना
ऐड
नहीं
होता.
था, जो जो बोल रहे थे कि द पिच इज अप एंड डाउन, ये उतना था नहीं, लाइक इट वाज स्टिल गुड टू बैट ऑन. आप देखो फिफ्थ डे पिच पे उन कौन सा रन रेट पे मार रहे थे दोनों, लेथम एंड कॉनवे. सो
Hmm.
दैट मींस इट वाज इन दैट sort of pitch where you can like really pick up wickets every single delivery. Yes, there were chances that you should have taken, and if and buts thode the, if they took their catches, they put
Hmm.
more pressure
Exactly.
maybe. But if you see, like in the last session of the day on day 5, if you're going at a run rate of 8 and 9, that means it's still a good wicket to bat on. And again,
Hmm.
I go back to the pitch. They need to change the
Yeah.
pitch. It's more than the
It won't survive, man. The pitch won't
choice.
survive. अगर ऐसा रहा तो पूरा सीरीज अगर इस पे खेलने वाले तो नहीं survive होगा, या तो गड़े बड़े आ जाएंगे या तो कुछ तो भी हो जाएगा, इतना
Magar,
ड्राई
abhi
है
to
भाई.
बहुत flat hai. It's very flat, and the
हाँ.
thing is, they might play on a different pitch in the next
Hmm.
test match. I don't think it'll be the same pitch. So if it's a different pitch, if it's again it's a pata wicket, then it's going to be boring again. So
Hmm.
at the end of the day, the pitch needs to change. They need to try to induce a result, whether it goes against or with Pakistan. You have to try and do it, because ये draw, देखो आप draw के लिए जा रहे हैं, फिर भी almost हार जा रहे हैं मैच, क्या फायदा? At least
Hmm.
make it a ranked runner, put New Zealand under pressure. I've been saying this all the time. If you lose, you lose, or whatever, but at least you're giving a good shot at it. Right now is
Yeah.
you're playing defensively and you're almost losing games playing defensively. भाई वो विकेट पे सोधी भी मार रहा, वसीम भी मार रहा. I'm not taking credit
Hmm.
away from them. Okay, there were good innings under pressure, लेकिन it shows that उतना है नहीं demons उसमें to trouble the tailenders.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, like you mentioned, that the ranked runners डाल सकते. One person also who stood out for me in this test again was for Pakistan, Abrar Ahmed, man. 23 wickets in the last three matches that he's played, two against England, अब ये New Zealand का. This guy surely is dangerous, man. आज भी जो ब्रेसवेल का विकेट निकाला, obviously it stayed low, but this guy, one thing I noticed him, एज कम होंगी लेकिन maturity in bowling बहुत ज्यादा है इसको. इन्हें एग्जैक्ट सिचुएशन के हिसाब से मालूम कि बंदा क्या करने वाला है, आगे आने वाला है. You saw Bracewell was going advancing the ball before also he advanced, he missed. I think he hit it and he got a couple. But then the next ball, immediately he tried it again, he got stuck and he got pulled. So Abrar Ahmed, really commendable approach that he has towards bowling. I think he's really one amazing player that Pakistan have found.
Yeah, I mean, he's been outstanding in the last three test matches. If there's any criticism, I would say that he leaks too
It
many
is.
runs, and that's okay for a leg spinner. Like when they put him under pressure, thoda sa unhe hil jata. Like again in the second innings today, the New Zealand's New Zealand second innings, they put him under pressure. They started reverse sweeping him. They started hitting him down the ground. So thoda sa unhe घबरा गया था. So in that situation, I think he will learn with experience. They
I
should
think even
keep
the white
backing.
ball cricket implementation will help him if he comes into the white ball surface where 50
Yeah.
overs खेलना, 20 overs तो खेला है, 50 overs खेलेगा, he start being more disciplined with the line and length. I think that will help him a lot.
Yeah, and also variations, maybe try that a bit more, flight it up and try different
Mm.
things. And yeah, no doubt, when especially if there is purchase, he will definitely do well. And it's been a great start to his career. And this is a learning curve. I think just because he gets hit, that doesn't mean you drop him. You continue to play him, continue to back him. Mystery spinner के साथ ऐसा होता है, like they mentioned in the comments in our shows before. A lot of our our friends and family have said कि भाई mystery spinner का ये है कि they get worked out as the days go on. So I just hope he develops variations, different deliveries, and continues to work on his game. He definitely has a talent. If you can pick up wickets like that in buckets, especially versus England and New Zealand, so you have a bright future ahead of you.
Yeah, 100%. And this guy does have a bright future considering the teams that he's facing and the wickets that he's getting. Definitely one for the future, man.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I think from the two sides, New Zealand will be the happier side first with the performance, because they did play better towards the end. They were the closer to victory, so we'll judge it on that. That New Zealand were the better team, so they'll be the happier. And I think in the next test match, right now they're trying to find their feet. In the next test match, they'll probably go for it. They might lose the test match if they play attacking cricket, but I think they will go for it because they'll feel that this Pakistani bowling attack is not how strong as it seems. Pakistan might bring in Hassan Ali. That might be a good call. They might do a few changes, but lekin New Zealand will now feel that they can actually attack Pakistan and win this series in the second test match.
Yeah, 100%. I think that it was just like for New Zealand to understand the conditions. Now they know the pitch and obviously it's not going to change drastically. I mean, in the second test, and it's probably be the same flat surface. So yeah, New Zealand can bring in. I think they should bring in a better fast bowling option. I think they don't have that much, पेस लाइक यू मेंशन प्रीवियसली एज वेल, काफी पेस नहीं है इन लोगों का, ने कोई 150 145 भी अगर डाल सकता है उनके पास, तो दैट विल बी अ गुड शॉट फॉर देम, एटलीस्ट वन एंड से एक प्रेशर बने हुए रहेगा. एंड प्लस द स्पिनर्स bowled very decently, Bracewell, Ishori and Ajaz Patel, all of them were throughout the test match, usually one of them would keep standing up, either Ajaz Patel in the earlier hours of the first innings, फिर अपने Ishori by 6 विकेट लिए. So spinners have done a very good job for New Zealand. Pacemen थोड़े मेरे लिए need to step up. I think they need to get a one pacer who can get a 140 odd. They can change probably one paceman, but yeah, for me that is the only like the call for New Zealand. Apart from that, they're not going to be making many changes as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think that pace is what's lacking from both teams. If you get that extra pace, you can do some damage, get those wickets in the middle overs, and put pressure on the opposition. That's probably what both teams are lacking. And I agree with you. Ishode has been magnificent. He's bowled really well, and that'll be the danger for Pakistan if they do put a
Yeah.
turning wicket. Then they'll have to watch out for the likes of Sodhi, Ejaz Patel, and Bracewell, because New Zealand have spinners in their ranks. And gone are the days where you can bring a foreign team and just dominate them. They will have a chance on turning wickets now because they do have the spinners of their own. And same thing goes with the India-Australia series. Australia will have spinners of their own which can trouble India. So it'll be
Yeah.
a good contest.
We,
But I'm hoping for a better wicket. I got really bored in this test match. I felt that there's no way there was going to be a result. That was just my opinion. ठीक है, थोड़ा बहुत था एंड में कि शायद पहुंच सकते, but the way the declaration was set up and everything, there was no scope for a result, and the pitch has to be blamed for that. And I hope we get to see a better pitch, a result-oriented pitch, and so that, like, it's more entertaining, and if a team wins, it's more fun that way.
Yeah, 100%. I agree, man. Like, because देखो भाई, at some point of time, it's going to just be for the batsman, and then psychologically bowler का भी drainage खत्म हो जाता. Fielding with then, या तो you either do some psychological warfare in the field, you pump it up, you gas it up, you have to do something to spice things up. Let it be a flat wicket. देखो result अगर होना तो कुछ भी तरीके करके निकालने की कोशिश करना. You can't just leave it to the pitch के pitch. But कभी कभी आप odd bowler लेके आओ. बाबर को लाया, अच्छा था, that was a good change. Something to just change things up, mix it up. I know there's lot of scope in it, but somewhere if you can experiment something, these are the days to experiment, right? And what Bobber did, he tried to experiment something, but he experimented with the wrong team, I think. But again, I'm going to credit him because he's trying to do something new and try to bring something in the eyes of the Pakistani fan base and in the management that aisa bhi khel sakte, based on what he's learning from, let us say, a Ben Stokes or anyone. But at least he's implementing something that he's learning, and that's something good.
आई डोंट थिंक सो, तो कुछ भी नहीं हुआ। भाई उन्हें डिक्लेयर करा, फिर पूरा फील्ड पीछे कर दिया, एंड ड्रॉ ही होने वाला था वो। लाइक फास्ट बॉलर्स को दे दिया डर के, बिकॉज टाइम वेस्ट करो बोल के, हाइड द बॉल। there was nothing there. Like, I did not say anything. It was just बचने के लिए। जब प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में आएंगे या जो भी है सवाल आएंगे, ठीक है, थोड़े से वहां बचने के लिए, देखो हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं रिजल्ट के लिए। पिंडा कुछ भी कोशिश नहीं करे। It was a very defensive mindset throughout the test match, and it's been like that for a long time this whole year from Pakistan in test cricket. So they have to change that. अगर उन्हें like बैटिंग में भी अगर आप देखें, वहां पे भी both teams consume time. From New Zealand's point of view, they actually still had the upper hand. They still could have enforced things. Also, they were, trying to get to a deficit. Like, they were behind the 8 ball. When
Exactly.
you had 400 on the board, they're behind. So they're trying to level scores and then take it from there. Pakistan had the advantage. You won the toss, try to score 600 and then put under pressure. ना आपको field press में कुछ aggressive दिखा, ना declaration में मेरे को aggressive दिखा, या bowling में या कहीं भी aggressive दिखा. And of course, the pitch didn't help. लेकिन ये जो था, that was just for show, man. That declaration was
I
nothing.
guess.
Like, there was no
I guess.
intent there from my
I'm
point
just
of
trying
view.
to be positive.
No, I mean, that's fair enough. You have your opinion. I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm not convinced from his captaincy.
What are your
But
thoughts on Imamul Haq's 96? Imamul Haq मतलब century मारा England के against भी 60 भी मारा. अच्छा aggressive दिखता है. He comes down the track as well. अच्छा boy, but he took too much time. 204 deliveries में कुछ 96 मारा. But
इमामुल हक के रन्स आते हैं बैट से, लेकिन कितने मैच विनिंग रन्स थे वो देखना पड़ेगा। आते हैं, like there was one, I think, in a series against Australia or South Africa, like in the one days he hit 100, match winning 100. So he does score runs, लेकिन sometimes it's too slow pace. Sometimes the intent is missing. But he is someone who can get you runs, and you can bank on him in these conditions, especially to get you runs. He does get criticized. Sometimes it's fair, sometimes it's very unfair. Lekin, yeah, today he did his job. It was for him to make sure that Pakistan don't lose the game. If he got out early, they would have lost the match. As simple as that. So he made sure that at least they didn't lose. And you have to give Imam Mulhaq credit there. But I would like to see more intent going forward, more positivity, because this pitch allowed that. This pitch allowed you to, play your shots and be a bit more aggressive and score runs at a higher pace. So that's what I would like to see from Imam. But otherwise, I can't criticize him too much or knock him down. I felt that he did
Someone
his
we
job.
can criticize is probably an Abdullah Shafiq, and I was expecting a lot from him based on what we saw against England. But going ahead and playing those shots, not necessary. Going ahead and being aggressive when it's not necessary. I think he could have got a fair 100. Acha khasa, he could maintain his status in the team. But I think going ahead and doing something like that, मेरे को तो बिल्कुल समझ में नहीं आया भाई. जब फ्लैट टिकट कहते फ्लैट विकेट है, आप अपना अच्छा खेलो भाई. कहीं को आप जाके कुछ तो भी करने जा रहे हैं.
But at least मेरे को intent दिखा उससे, and he's had a good year. So he's allowed to fail a few times here and there. I felt that at least he showed some intent there. Yeah, it was stupidity at the end, but that's what happens when you take risks. So at least we saw some stuff from him. Of course, he'll have to learn from that mistake and not repeat it again. अगर बार बार वो करेगा तो फिर then eventually he'll get dropped. Like, and for now, I think it's okay. Don't need to. I'm not going to criticize him too much in that way. Like, yeah, of course, a mistake is a mistake, and you need to learn from it.
Of course, man.
And I was going to say, your man of the match, for you, the player of the match, basically.
For me, Tom Latham.
You're going to go Tom Latham. You enjoyed his batting. I'll go Kane Williamson. Just to be a bit different. And 200 maar diya unhe. He made sure that New Zealand don't lose. And whenever you bat second in the subcontinent, I feel you have a bit of a disadvantage. That's what I feel. And he made sure that they crossed that deficit and they got a lead, and they were in a position where they could have actually pushed for a victory. And that was due to Kane Williamson batting so long and so well as well.
100%. 593 minutes यार. किसको बोलते हैं वो 593 minutes batting करना.
Immense concentration. But yeah, I think that wraps up this test match. If anyone's watching, if you have comments or questions, please do ask. We'll go into the fresh of the press section and talk about some news. And yeah, I'll see you there in a bit. पहली ये खबर आई सुबह सुबह की. संडे को इंडिया रिव्यू मीटिंग है अबाउट द वर्ल्ड कप, द T20 वर्ल्ड कप, एंड physically present will be Lakshman, Rahul Dravid, and Rohit Sharma, captain. Rohit Sharma was in the Maldives. I think he'll reach there on the 31st or 1st. He'll reach Bombay, and he'll be there. Rahul Dravid will be there, and Lakshman will be there. And then on the 3rd, I think is the T20 against Sri Lanka. So they're going to have that meeting over there, what they're going to discuss, what they're going to evaluate. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's always good to look at your mistakes and see where you can improve. Maybe you could have done earlier, right after the T20 World Cup, but better late than never. I don't know exactly क्या आने वाला है वो meeting से, क्या होने वाला है, what the productivity will be, what the results will be. Lekin I think the main aim of the thing is to evaluate the World Cup and make sure those mistakes are not made with the bigger World Cup coming up, the 50 over this year, next year.
Yeah. 50 over next year, and next year is what, one day away, Mustafa. Still looks like we're in 2020. I can't even process that stuff yet. 2022 khatam pe hai. We will, guys who are going to watch us, who are watching us, we are going to do a review show for India's performance in 2022 as well. We're going to probably get some data from Cricinfo, probably and then have a spin-off on that. So hopefully you guys can join us around 10:30 India time. So 10:30 India time.
Is it an India review, or we're going to do teams of the year? Of different
whatever
formats.
you call. I think we can do teams as well, then we can do India as well, however
let's do
people
teams of
call
the
it
year, for each format, and then we can talk about India as well over there. Fez, if you look at that meeting, let's see what comes out from it. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but from India's point of view, it's about sticking to your words. The template was changed. They were playing aggressive cricket, but then when the knockout happened and when the pressure was on, they just went back to their shell and they didn't play that kind of cricket. Whenever there's a pressure game, India failed. So I think in that meeting, that has to be discussed, the approach in big matches, the team selections. There's okay, Bumrah wasn't there. Yes, Jadeja wasn't there. Like England also didn't have their best players in Archer. They didn't have Bairstow. Imagine a team without Archer and Bairstow. Those are your
Yeah.
best T20 players. They play T20 cricket all over the world, and they're just beasts. So, and they won the T20 World Cup. So I don't think you can be given any excuses to Rahul Dravid, Rohit Sharma. They have to be evaluated fairly, and the board needs to, like, judge them on that basis based on performance. It was a very poor year for Indian cricket in 2022. Two big tournaments, at least Asia Cup भाई final तो पहुंच जाओ फिर
Yeah.
बात की बात, we'll still be disappointed, it'll still be considered a failure if you don't win the final, but at least final to पहुंच जाओ. You'd expected to reach the finals in the Asia Cup. And then in the T20 World Cup, there was all the talk about a new approach, and we're just testing it out in the Asia Cup, but in Australia you will see the approach. But it went back against South Africa when the pressure was on, when there was quick bowling, whether it was against England, they just succumbed under that pressure, and I think that should be discussed in this meeting.
And also, if you see, like for me, one more thing is that this is, I mean, it's been hyped around YouTube and social media, but it's not been very well addressed in the media by the BCCI and the management. I mean, it's as if they're hiding, छुप रहे हैं. हर मैच के बाद कुछ ज्यादा comments नहीं दे रहे, shady comments नहीं दे रहे. हाँ हमारे को मालूम, हाँ हम देख लेंगे, हाँ. Like you're trying to run away from the reality, and you need a reality check. You got reality check when England smashed the crap out of you. Two batsmen unbeaten. That is nothing more shy of a shameful, performance. And then, like you said, Asia Cup, mein to you're expected with the quality of players that you had. I know you were there. You told me that there's no other threatening batsman than Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul, and these guys when they're actually batting, you can see the threatening and they're way ahead of their game. But that is not, that's not being translated in victories. That's not being translated in ICC formats, and that really needs to change. But somebody in the media really needs to start asking some tough questions and get those answers. भाई निकालो जवाब, भाई हमारे को होना जवाब, भाई क्या हो रहा है? Is it psychological? Is it like injuries? तो है भाई, but you have the back quality to back that up. So then that doesn't make sense, the injury thing, right? So इतने सवाल unanswered है अभी properly, and we're all just in this confusion state that we're not able to get the answers, and we're just going on speculations as well, based on what we can perceive in terms of data and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the main thing you said, there's more questions than answers in this year. I think that's the worrying part. And भाई अगर आप हार गए, like knockout हो गए सेमीफाइनल में उधर वर्ल्ड कप में, अगर सेमीफाइनल पहुंचे एंड वहां पे भी
आप
नॉकआउट
सेमीफाइनल बोल रहे, आपने जो पब्लिक है उनला तो बोल रहे टॉप 4 में भी नहीं आते, वो फर्स्ट राउंड भी प्लेयर नहीं करने वाले हैं.
अगर वो हो गया तो फिर बहुत बुरा हो जाएगा. एंड दिस इज वेयर यू हैव टू मेक टफ डिसीजंस. दीस आर द मीटिंग्स यू हैव टू टेक टफ डिसीजंस. एंड व्हाट यू वांट इज कंसिस्टेंसी. यू वांट टू सी a regular team back. And the thing is, क्या होता है मालूम, मैं आपको एक चीज बोलता हूँ. आप बोलते हैं कि आप बैक करते हैं प्लेयर को, आप पूरा बैक करते हैं. लाइक दिनेश कार्तिक वाज बैक, ठीक है, he's backed up until when the pressure started cooking. When the pressure started cooking, they dropped Dinesh Karthik, put Rishabh Pant into the team. I'm not saying who's better, who's not better, but I'm saying that at least आप changes पहले से बनाओ. Make sure you do chop and changing from before, so at least the players know that this is what's going to happen. It's going to be very cutthroat कि आप नहीं perform करें, next game out. मगर आप क्या करते पिछले 3-4 साल से मैं जो देख रहा हूँ, आप रखते हैं रेगुलर टीम, फिर एकदम से जब बड़ा टूर्नामेंट आता, फिर आप एकदम से चॉप चेंज करते हैं. अंबती रायडू को पूरा साल खिलाए या 2 साल खिलाए, फिर वर्ल्ड कप से पहले ड्रॉप मार दिया उसको. एकदम से विजय शंकर आ गया, उसको फिर ड्रॉप मार दिया. फिर ऋषभ पंत आ गया था 2019 में. सो देयर इज नो कंसिस्टेंसी इन बिग टूर्नामेंट्स. दैट्स व्हेयर यू हैव टू बी कंसिस्टेंट. इट्स नॉट अबाउट बिफोर डू ट्रायल एंड एरर, एक्सपेरिमेंट, नो प्रॉब्लम. आप ड्रॉप मार रहे संजू सैमसन को, अब मारो, मगर आप जाके वर्ल्ड कप में अगर आप उसको खिलाएंगे, फिर वर्ल्ड कप में ड्रॉप मारेंगे तो फिर गलती होगी. सो दैट्स
वही तो है ना, एंड दैट इज वेयर द पॉइंट कम्स. भाई देयर मोर क्वेश्चंस एंड आंसर्स, लाइक यू सेड. भाई इसका लॉजिक क्या है? मतलब आप इतनी लंबी रस्सी दे रहे, फिर रस्सी जब एक्चुअली देने का टाइम भी है, या कोई टूर्नामेंट आप स्विच मार दे रहे. बेचारे बंदे का तो ऑलरेडी कॉन्फिडेंस डाउन है, और डाउन कॉन्फिडेंस और डाउन हो जाता. लाइक अगर नहीं परफॉर्म कर रहा, एक दो लाइक आइदर सिस्टमाइज इट इन अ वे कि भाई दिस इज द नंबर ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज यू आर गोना गेट. ये अपॉर्चुनिटीज में आप नहीं शाइन करें, वी आर मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट वन. 5 games, 3 games, just put a number on it, one series.
With Dinesh Karthik, if you notice, there was only 1 or 2 performances going into that World Cup, and it was the IPL. That's it. For India, maybe there was 1 game against South Africa that I can remember top of my head, and maybe 1 against England in England, or in Ireland. I don't remember. There was only 2 performances that he finished the job for India. Otherwise, there was nothing there. So what does that mean? कि उन्हें पूरा साल नहीं perform करा था leading up to the World Cup. साल मतलब आधा साल, ठीक है. फिर एशिया कप में नहीं आए performances वो लेवल के, और ऋषभ पंत को खिलाए, उसको ड्रॉप करे, ये करे, वो करे. So फिर क्यों लेके गए आप 2 ओवर खिलाने, 3 ओवर खिलाने, क्यों लेके गए वर्ल्ड कप को? सो दैट्स वेयर यू हैव टू बी स्मार्ट. उन्हें परफॉर्मेंस दे रहा तो आप ले लिए उसको, मगर फिर खिला रहे नहीं बराबर, उसका इस्तेमाल नहीं कर रहे बराबर, तो फिर क्या फायदा बोलो.
फिर 100%,
तो
और फिर
इट्स वेरी
इंजरी भी होगी भाई
कंफ्यूजिंग.
वो।
इवन मैं भी कभी कभी बात बात करके मैं कंफ्यूज होता हूँ मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट्स हैपनिंग. कभी लंबी रस्सी दे दे रहे, कभी नहीं दे रहे, कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं है. एंड also the players, they have to take responsibility in big matches. They have to show a fearless approach, because me and you, if we're coaches, we can talk as much as we want in the back
Yeah,
room, but
100.
then it's about the players going and performing. They have to
Mm.
play with that jigger and say ki bhai, let's go for it. No problem if we lose that game.
Intent, yeah, and a lot
Yeah.
of our people have been commenting on the intent of the Indian cricket team. It's not been great throughout the T20 World Cup, though we didn't see it except for Kohli's intent in the Pakistan game, and we didn't see anything else. There was a bit of a luck
Kohli's
factor. There
best
was a
kab aaya? When your back was against the wall, when there was a
guy
gun
wall.
to your head.
Yeah, exactly.
पहले 10 ओवर में क्या स्कोर था इंडिया का? 40-50 था, राइट? लाइक पहले
Yeah.
7 ओवर देख लो आप, दे वर लाइक 24-4 or 30-4 something like that. It was a
Yeah,
very
why
close.
bowler, man? Yeah, and those days, like in that aspect, also you look to your experience player, and Kohli did deliver. But Rohit Sharma, for me as a player, I'm not even going to go towards the captaincy, but as a player, also has been in shambles. Yes, we did see one inning from him in Bangladesh. With respect to him, injury रख के आके जो भी मारा, या वो सिराज अगर over देता, या there can only be a lot of ya's and question marks over there. What if and what could be में रह गया अपन. But we need to come out of that phase and say, okay, well, this is it and this is what we're going to do. Come with one template, respect that template and follow it consistently. Don't change it based on, the conditions of the ground. Australia is a different country. Can we do it? Can we not? Short ball से शायद डर के approach change कर लिए. नहीं बोल सकते अपन. But that, why you are not sticking to your self belief? आप अपना self belief कहीं को मार ले रहे. कोई अगर आपको opinion दे रहा आपके ऊपर, आप अपने उसके हिसाब से अगर आप change करें तो आप बेवकूफ है. आप जैसे है आप वैसे खेलो भाई. Don't get threatened by the thing. If your experiment is successful in the past, then maybe try it and experiment it in a new country and see if you're getting results. And then you do your SWOT analysis and you see अरे इधर कर सकते थे, ये threat था, ये opportunity थी. भाई, that is how your assessment, and you will sort of shape your template.
Yeah, 100%. Ibrahim is saying Australia have added Agar and Renshaw to squad for third test.
That is the fresh of the press as well. Yes, Ibrahim
Yeah.
is our fresh of the press guy.
Stark is ruled out of third test because of that finger injury. Hazelwood Nasser could come in for Stark in third test unless they decide to go for two spinners playing Agar. I mean, Ashton Agar, they're probably preparing him now for that India series. He's going to
India playing it.
definitely play over there, and he'll have a role with bat and ball, but mainly with ball, of course. So they will prepare him for that. Whether he gets gets a go in the test match, I'm not sure, but at least he'll be there in the nets. He'll be practicing with the team. I think they're slowly getting him into that rhythm for that India series. And yeah, Mitchell Stark also, he's they'll need him fit. He's someone who can reverse the ball. He with that angle and that pace that he has, he can reverse the ball in India. I think Australia will probably go with two pacers, and they're hoping that Cameron Green gets fit, and then he might be your third pacer. I think that's what they will do.
I even heard Ibrahim, I'm not sure, and Mustafa, that Lance Morris also might be called up for a debut. Maybe they might, because he's right now, I think, the fastest bowler in Australia, what they're saying. So yeah, he's going to probably get a debut, but that is still in question. Abhi 100% guarantee nahi hui, but they're looking at the possibility of that. So if Lance Morris gets his opportunity, because they technically have nothing to play for in this test, so they can go all guns blazing and try to experiment.
Yeah, no, he's someone who bowls that 150 plus, though that Sean Tate type bowler. Maybe they can experiment with him. But main thing is, I think they want their main players to get rested and try to recover from their injuries and be ready for that series in India. India playing Sri Lanka also in a few days in the new year. We'll have that series, so there'll be a lot of content regarding that as well. Really looking forward to that series. It's I was just thinking yesterday, man. It's been a while since India played, but they last played on 25th. It was just a few days ago. So we're
Hmm.
used to seeing India play every single day. So it's a bit weird that they haven't played in the last 5-6 days. I felt कि 2-3 हफ्ते हो गए मगर खाली 5 दिन हुए, and they'll be playing very soon. So I'm excited about that. Big Bash, Sydney Sixers beating Melbourne Renegades. Fez. Man of the match was Mr. Chris Jordan. Sean Mars also playing well. So a good win for the Sydney Sixers. They won by 6 wickets. They chased down 125 that Melbourne set for them. So yeah, a good win for the Sydney team.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%. They, I think they're like right now second on the table. They came back. They were like bottom half पे थे उन लोग अभी, and then consistent wins के साथ they're back on the second position. Obviously played an extra game when you compared it to the Perth Scorchers and Adelaide Strikers, but yeah, they have a decent comeback.
By Dan Christian, 39 years old, he's going to be 40, I think, next year, and he is still contributing. Matlab, aaj bhi on 21 or 15 not out. He made sure he finished the game. James Vince also contributing 39 of 31. So, yeah, man, Dan Christian, this guy has been underrated player, especially in domestic cricket. He's played in the IPL as well. He's played in all the leagues, and he's gone under the radar, and he's still playing cricket. I just saw his name. I'm like, wow, like, I think at the start of the BPL, I saw him a few games, and today again, I'm like, man, this guy's still playing. So it's good to see him playing and looks fit, and he's still winning games for his side. So credit to him, and more power to him to be still playing cricket. वो भी
Yeah,
ऑलराउंडर के लिए भाई, ऐसा नहीं है कि जस्ट बैटिंग और थिंग, उन्हें बैटिंग
उसके
बॉलिंग
अलावा भी भाई आई वाज सेइंग यार वो ऑलराउंडर ऑब्वियसली द एवरी एस्पेक्ट ऑफ द गेम वो एज में आप उतना फिट भी रहना प्लस आप एबल टू क्लियर द बाउंड्रीज एंड बट पीटर सिडल भी अभी भी खेल रहा व्हिच इज 39 इयर्स ओल्ड एंड आई रिमेंबर बैक इन द डे क्या तेज चलता था ऑब्वियसली एज के हिसाब से पेस भी कम है बट काफी ओल्डीज आर स्टिल पुशिंग द ball and the bat
his
around
career is rising now in cricket, which is good to
Yeah,
see.
100%. Good to see because the importance of fitness and, like you said, sports, science, medical advancements, and this technically this generally helps. And I hope that we see Indian cricket also prolong for a longer time, like Kohli, probably, hopefully.
Yeah, and man, you mentioned this off air. Gambhir, he said today management's job to get Shaw back on track. My boy Prithvi Shaw, Gambhir wants him back as well. And he also mentioned Kishan should be Rohit's opening partner, like you had told me, and that is just
Yeah, Gautam Gambhir off the camera on the camera is going ballistically, critical as well, and he's always like that. We know what a character he is. He gives criticism, but he can't take criticism. That's one thing for sure. But he has been, sort of saying that Kohli and Rohit Sharma don't look that fit to be in the T. Not that fit, but like I don't see them to fit in the squad for the T20 World Cup next year, and I don't see KL Rahul coming back to open. He is giving logical,
Did
responses
he
as
say
well.
what did he say about KL Rahul? Can you please confirm and repeat it?
KL Rahul, he says that right now there is no discussion because KL Rahul is not going to be picked first choice in the ODI.
You remember his statement on KL Rahul before the Asia Cup? He was praising him a lot
He,
and everything, and
yeah, he said there's no. I think there's like no other batsman at this point or something like that.
there's no one like KL Rahul in the India team, and we had Virat Kohli sitting right there. So, yeah, he's, I mean, of course, statements will change based on performance and everything, and everyone is entitled to their opinion. So we respect that.
100%.
One thing that but the Kishan and Rohit Sharma thing, I kind of agree with it. Like, I would like to see a left hand, right hand,
Yeah.
but I would like to see Kishan and Prithvi Shaw. So, but like that combination, left hand, right hand, that's what I would like to see. Ishan Kishan opening the innings, he will be explosive, he will take risks, and that's what you want to see in the white ball format. Yes, there are two all-round options. Ibrahim Singh and Mitch Marsh and Maxwell are injured as well, so it will be interesting to see what combination Australia go with the third test. Yeah, I think these guys who are injured, the main thing will be going through rehab and trying to be fit and ready for that India series. That's going to be their main thing. And then if they have the options of Mitchell Marsh and what's it called, Cameron Green, then they might even tap into Stoinis if they have to for the India series. Because I feel they'll need one all-rounder going into that test series because two seamers and an all-rounder, and then you have 3-4 spinners. You have like two spinners.
For me, honestly, मैं बोलूँगा Musa bhai, like I don't think that you have to risk Cameron Green for this test. I would say let him
No,
sit
I'm
out
talking
and rest.
about the India series, but yeah.
Yeah, like abhi, like even they will probably want Cameron Green to play this match as well and continue his form, but I would say just don't
नहीं
risk it
नहीं
right now.
I don't think so.
बहुत
Why
crucial
would
है.
you want to?
Yeah,
हो गया series खत्म. I
yeah.
mean, like Australia, for India, it's crucial that Australia win again so that their chances get better for the World Test Championship. But for Australia, it's fine. They've won the series. Now it's about getting everyone, back to full fitness and also giving chances to other players. You never know kon kam aayega, right? At what situation. So exposing these guys to the likes of Rabada and Nokia could be a good thing. It could be a good experience. Younger players playing. We saw Marcus Harris. Renshaw's name. There as well. So if he gets a chance, maybe that will give him some confidence as well, and it gives them more options. Anshul bhai bol rahe, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Anshul Kumar Mishra. Really appreciate it. New Zealand तेज खेलती तो जीत जाती पहले इनिंग में. हाँ देखो हो सकता था, लेकिन आपको ये भी देखना है कि भाई उन लोग 400 रन पीछे थे, तो पहला आपको लीड मुकम्मल करना है, उसके बाद फिर बिल्ड करना है. और विलियमसन ऐसा टाइप प्लेयर की थोड़ा टाइम लगाएगा, एंड इफ दे टुक रिस्क्स मे बी पाकिस्तान वुड हैव बीन बैक इनटू द गेम. सो व्हेन यू आर बैटिंग सेकंड, यू ऑलवेज हैव टू बी अ बिट केयरफुल. लेकिन या यू आर राइट, अगर इंग्लैंड ये रहती थी शायद मैच हो जाता था अब तक. तो बात भी सही है आपकी ऐसे. ऐसी बात नहीं है. Green is ruled out of third test. He
Oh,
has been sent to have surgery on his finger. Yeah, he's been ruled out. He's
that
done
confirmed.
well. And thank you, Rembai, for that news. So Cameron Green is ruled out. That's confirmation. Also, yeah, I didn't expect him to play in the first place. So hopefully he recovers and he's back fit for the India series, because then it'll make that series more competitive. And also, he's the second highest, you know, player in the IPL auction in terms of price. So you want to see him in the IPL also. अभी से injuries ले
Yeah.
लिया तो मुश्किल हो
I think he
जाएगा.
also on a tweet भी करा था अभी एक थोड़ी देर पहले saying that what a year, what a week it has been, and obviously what a week it has been for him, and it's just been crazy. 5 wicket haul first test में लिया, फिर first 5 wicket haul लिया, फिर 50 मारा, फिर ये करा, फिर वो फिर 17 करोड़ कितने चीला हो गया, और उसके साथ एक हफ्ते में सीरियसली अगर चुटकी में लाइफ जब देने वाला देता है छप्पड़ पाड़ के देता है बोलते ना, वैसा काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन हो गया कैमरन ग्रीन के साथ. बट it's going to be interesting. South Africa also can probably learn from this match, do something in the third test to make it a bit more entertaining. Really looking forward to redemption from Rabada. Something that he can pull out maybe in terms of his line and length that has been very bad. And I'm expecting big things from Kagiso. Tamba Bavuma also had come out with a statement saying that he knows that he can get 100, but yeah, situation has been getting the best better of him, and he's really going to focus on trying to get more runs. तो बबुमा बहुत ज़्यादा अपने कॉन्फ्रेंस में सेट के भाई सही में वी नो कि we need big runs, but also inexperience has sort of cost us in this test series.
Yeah, and first the under 19 squad, India women, they're playing the first ever under 19 Women's World Cup T20. That's going to
Yeah,
be in Africa. That's starting January 14th, which is in a couple of weeks. We will be following that closely because some of these players will also be playing the Senior Women's World Cup,
senior
which will be
workman.
after that in South Africa. And it's led by Shefali Verma. We all know her. She's going to be captain. Then Shweta Serawat, she's the vice captain. You have Richa Ghosh, who was outstanding in that game against
Yeah,
Australia, bilateral. You have G. Trisha, Somya Tiwari, Sonia Mendia, Hurley Gala, Hirishta Basu, Sonam Yadav, Manat Kashyap, Archana Devi, Parshavi Chopra, Tita Sadhu, Falak Naz, and Shabnam Mohammed. So it's going to be interesting to see how these girls do. It's going to be a good exposure, and I feel that this is how the women's game is going to grow. Like you under 19, you have that, then the transition to the senior women's, and also I think 2-3 players from there, especially Richa Ghosh and Shefali Verma, they will be in that women's team as well going into the World Cup. So मजा आएगा कैसा performance रहेंगी ये World Cup में, and India have a good chance always, but watch out for Australia, man. I would always say in the women's game Australia खतरनाक रहता है भाई. श्रीलंका को मैच कम मिले वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप में, हाँ कम मिले, लेकिन अभी जो पॉइंट सिस्टम है अंशुल भाई, इट्स बेसिकली परसेंटेज पॉइंट्स होते हैं, तो इवन इफ दे प्ले लेस गेम्स दे स्टिल हैव अ चांस टू टॉप यू एंड गो इनटू द फाइनल्स, बिकॉज अभी इट्स नॉट अबाउट टू
matches.
ओवरऑल, इट्स अबाउट परसेंटेज. तो आप कितने रेशियो जीतते हैं. अब श्रीलंका थोड़े हार चुके हैं टेस्ट मैचेस, पाकिस्तान से भी हारे थे समर में, सो इसलिए उनका थोड़ा कम रैंकिंग हो गया. अदरवाइज दे वर इन विद अ वेरी गुड शाउट श्रीलंका फॉर द टॉप 2 स्पॉट्स, लेकिन हार गए बीच में मैचेस. वो सिस्टम चेंज हो गया जहाँ पे आप ज्यादा गेम्स खेले ज्यादा पॉइंट्स है, वो चेंज सिस्टम हो गया. वो हुआ था एट द एंड ऑफ लास्ट साइकिल. तो अभी इट्स नॉट अबाउट द नंबर ऑफ पॉइंट्स यू हैव, इट्स अबाउट द नंबर ऑफ विंस. सो विन लॉस रेशियो कैलकुलेट हो रहा है. एग्जैक्टली वो कैसा कैलकुलेट रहता है, आई विल हैव टू रिसर्च दैट, लेकिन वही है कि इट्स अबाउट विन लॉस रेशियो. तो आप अगर कम गेम खेले भी तो आपका चांस बराबर होता है, और ऑलमोस्ट बराबर होता है टू मेक द finals. Join us 10:30 p.m. for the men's team of 2022 World 11, India 11, all formats and performance review for the year. India 11 भी करना है.
सब
India
करेंगे भाई, बिकॉज ये पूरा रिपोर्ट कार्ड है. आपके पूरे एग्जाम, आपके पूरे एग्जाम चेक में रहेंगे. सब मालूम होगा कि कौन नॉटी बॉयज है, कौन गुड बॉयज है, कौन अगले साल पास होने वाला है, कौन अगले साल फेल होने वाला है. बट या इट्स गोना बी
yeah,
फन,
join
एंड होपफुली आप लोग ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं 10:30 10:30 बजे रात को. आज बिकॉज कल न्यू ईयर है, कल तो कोई आएगा नहीं, कल तो न्यू ईयर पार्टी होने वाली है, पार्टी. बट या तो न्यू ईयर की पार्टी से पहले अपन रिजल्ट अनाउंस कर दें ताकि और पार्टी कर सकते हैं.
Yeah, we will do ICC 11s. I think Cricket Info से निकाल के will put it कि भाई these are the 3 11s, Test 1 T20, and then we'll say what changes we want, and then आप लोग भी बोलिए कि आप किसको देखते हैं अपने 11s में for the year based on performances, based on whatever you want. आपके है तो आप बोलो जो भी है, and we'll talk a bit about India and their performances throughout the year also. So join us then. Ibrahim Bhai Singh, what are your thoughts on Pakistan provincial ODI squad for New Zealand series? I think the biggest thing there, I know, Ibrahim Bhai, thank you for sending it to us on Instagram. We saw that. And for me, the biggest thing is Fakhar Zaman not being there, Shajil Khan coming in. That's a big news. That's one thing I did not expect. But, Fakhar Zaman's performances were dipping. His consistency was a bit lacking. So I understand where it's coming from. But, Shajil, they've gone back to him after that scandal. It seems that they're going to back their players. And I think with Najam Sethi back, that's a hint of his thing, because he also brought Mohammad Amir back after the match fixing scandal. So he's someone who will back players after they've done their punishment, and he'll still give them a chance. So maybe that's his imprint over there. Lekin I'll be interested to see how they perform in that one day series. It'll be too early to say what's going to happen. After the provincial ODI squad gets confirmed, then we can have a more say of who the 15 are and how it's going to happen. Test हाँ टेस्ट का ही बोल रहे थे अंशुल भाई, टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप मैं समझ गया आपकी बात. I think so that's my thoughts on the Pakistan provincial squad. Once it's confirmed, then we can talk more about it and see. There might be a few tweaks here and there depending on injuries and updates and all that as well, right? So it'll be we'll have to wait for that.
The interesting thing that you sent me yesterday, Mustafa, I mean that Jammu and Kashmir team is looking crazy. हाँ रांची में बहुत बेहतरीन figures थे वो आप जो भेजे मेरे को, and a lot of talent coming out of Jammu and Kashmir. But yeah, hopefully we will also get into the Ranji mode, and probably एक episode set up करना पड़ेगा. Ranji में boys बहुत ज़्यादा आवाज कर रहे. But yeah, your thoughts on that Jammu Kashmir का talent, man?
Yeah, man, the way they've been playing their cricket, कोई ना कोई निकल के आ रहा है उन लोग के टीम से. हमारे आबिद भाई के थे, उनका फुल नेम मैं बस ढूंढ रहा हूँ अभी, but it just skipped my mind. I was just looking at the highlights of his what's it called, of his performance. Yeah, 8 wicket liya tha unhe, and some sublime deliveries, man, pitching on middle stump and then hitting that off stump. Really some slip catches as well. He's getting the ball to turn, and I was felt that Aksar Patel 2.0. We have we left arm spinners are going to keep coming in. I was very very happy with his performance in that game, and it's good to see people from Jammu Kashmir coming up now, and it was a big win for them, because I think they're 90 for 3 Vidarbha, and they got all out for 105, so that spell completely changed the game. And they beat them at home, and Vidarbha has been outstanding in Ranji Trophy in the last few years. They've been so good, courtesy Wasim Jafar, but now they still have plenty of players. Faiz Fazal, your namesake, is also there. They have plenty of players performing. So it's been great from that point of view. Lekin, yeah, it's good to see boys from there performing and coming up, because we haven't seen that in the past. So hopefully he gets to play for India also.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, after like certain performances like that, if he keeps this continuity, definitely he'll be one that people will be cheering for. Anshul bhai is asking Amir ki वापसी होगी या नहीं? Yeah, Abid.
Abid Mushtaq is his name.
Mushtaq. Remember the name.
Abid Mushtaq. He was outstanding. And just his figures, I'll say 8 for 18 in 8 overs. So आप जाके highlights देखिए, you can see that on Twitter. You can find it, I'm sure. It was an outstanding spell. Brilliant bowling from him. And look at those figures, man. 8 wicket. Mohammad Amir की हो सकती है वापसी. उनकी tweet भी आ गई थी जब नजम सेठी announce हुए as PCB chairman. He said, welcome back, sir, and all that. And he's the one who did back Amir. हो सकती, बट मेरे ख्याल से नहीं होना चाहिए. You should back your youngsters and think, but with the injuries that Pakistan have had, they might just keep that as an option कि भाई आमिर को खिला लो, experience है, वो है. Look, Amir is an exceptional talent. Unfortunately, he made a huge mistake, and his career dipped. But then he came back and he still bowled really well. Remember that Champions Trophy final, जो विराट कोहली का विकेट लिया था, यही लिया था बंदा मोहम्मद आमिर. And Virat Kohli is the one who can chase down a target like that. So and there was a very good spell of bowling. So Mohammad Amir, even after his break of like 4 or 5 years, he still came back and managed to win a Champions Trophy. So it just goes to show the talent. Imagine he didn't go into this mess and continue to play for Pakistan. He would have been probably the best bowler in the world. But by now we'd be talking about him as a great. Lekin that mistake, and then थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे तो रहेगा. He won't have that consistency. 4-5 साल हो गए उसको नहीं खेलते हुए during that period. Lekin will he make a comeback? There's always a possibility. Should he is another question. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I think it's all about the requirement. देखना पड़ेगा पाकिस्तान को. ये है कि बस आमिर की टैलेंट नो डाउट है, बट अगेन ऑब्वियसली एज भी हो गई उनकी. इट्स बीन क्वाइट a long time since he's played. as well. And
फॉर्मेट भी
अभी
कौन
आप
सा रखेंगे उसको? आई थिंक T20 वनडे क्या, बिकॉज उन्हें वही तो खेल रहा है। आप टेस्ट मैचेस में तो नहीं लिखेंगे, पेस भी कम
हाँ
होगी उसकी, तो फॉर्मेट भी देखना पड़ेगा, T20s
वही
वनडेज।
आई
अब
थिंक
देखो,
वही सवाल है अंशुल भाई का, प्रोबेबल्स ऑफ ओडीआई के बेसिस पे ही होंगे शायद, आई डोंट थिंक टेस्ट में तो लेंगे वापस लाइक यू सेड, बट या यू हैव द लाइक्स ऑफ when Hassan Ali coming back, you have Wasim Junior है, Naseem is also going to come back from injury, तो देखना पड़ेगा कि ये बच्चों को आप बैक करते हो. Yes, they are young, but maybe Amir can also act like a mentor to them better than that, but like let's see injuries के हिसाब से कैसा रहता. I didn't. I don't
I
think they
don't.
should make too many changes as in 5 or 6 months time. If Imran Khan wins the election, City will resign as PCB chairman, and he doesn't want to work under. Yeah, definitely that is also there. But then again, the whole upside daisy situation हो जाएगा, फिर constitution change होगा उन लोगों का, फिर उनका ये होगा, yeah, it's just messed up. How much there's involvement of politics and sports? Like I think it will be very separate. But yeah, it's just a sad thing to say. अगर ज़्यादा changes करे, फिर they'll get accustomed to a certain type of cricket. फिर आपका अप्रोच चेंज हो जाएगा, फिर आपका मैनेजमेंट चेंज हो जाएगा, देन फिर एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग प्रॉब्लम. इट्स गोना बी अ वेरी टफ टाइम फॉर पाकिस्तान क्रिकेट इफ दैट हैपेंस.
For the One Day World Cup, it's in India. So, like the fast bowling that I would like to see is Haris Rauf, Shaheen, Naseem Shah. That's the attack that I would like to see. And then you have Dahani in the wings, like he's someone you can groom. You have plenty of other options as well. Wasim Junior is there as well. He can play in the one day format. So you have options there. Just keeping these bowlers fit. And then I think the
If
batting is.
Hassan Ali, even if Hassan Ali finds his form back, man, then he can also come back.
But again, Hassan Ali, there's certain games उन्हें पूरा मैच हरा देता, तो it depends on कौन
Wow.
सा फॉर्म में है, कैसा खेल रहा. लेकिन इंडियन कंडीशंस में बैटिंग also will be okay. I think the way Babar is one play, it will suit them in the 50 over format in Indian conditions. And then you always have Chachu to accelerate. You have options over there in the middle order. Maybe Imamul Haq might be a shout as well, because again, it's in Indian conditions, not Australian conditions. He might be a shout. There will be criticism, but they need one or two hitters in that middle order. They need some finishers. Asif Ali needs to get the consistency back. I don't
Yeah.
know if they will come back into the scene, or who they will try in that middle order. Maybe find some youngsters and give them a backing. But I think the conditions in India will suit them. Even last time the World Cup was in India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan reached the semi-finals. So I think I'm expecting a good performance from them again in the ICC World Cup, unless something goes terribly bad, or if they have big injuries, or if Babar just messes up captaincy. Otherwise, I feel they'll have a good performance.
Yeah, looks like that because they look more in sync than what they were a few months ago. They look like they're getting things
I
back
mean,
on
last few
track.
years have been pretty decent for them in the white ball format. It's been the test they've been struggling like crazy. White ball format, they've done well in two ICC tournaments. And bilaterals भी पाकिस्तान को कभी भी जज नहीं करना bilaterals पे, because उन लोग
Yeah, because of
five.
unpredictable team है भाई. ना क्या है in a current situation in ICC they'll come out from somewhere. That is there.
या बटलर की टेस्ट वापसी होगी मेरे हिसाब से, होना चाहिए और होगी,
Yeah.
बिकॉज बेन स्टोक्स आपका कप्तान है, और वो एक तरीके का खेल रहा है अभी जो एग्रेसिव है, पहले बॉल से मारो, और बटलर सूट्स दैट. आई थिंक ही शुड ओपन द बैटिंग. वेदर ही इज कंसिस्टेंट, ओनली टाइम विल टेल, मगर मौका तो मिलेगा उसको. मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा कि भाई बटलर विल ओपन इन द एशेस next summer. That's what my call is. It's just a guess. It's not nothing confirmed. लेकिन उसको देखना चाहिए, I think, in the test thing, because he suits. I know Crawley is. They backed him really well, and he's
Duckett.
in Pakistan. Duckett has done really well. So it might be tricky, but somewhere or the other उसको पहुंचा देना बटलर को. मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा.
हाँ, जिस
मुश्किल.
तरीके का प्लेयर नहीं मुश्किल भी नहीं है उसके लिए, अगर उन्हें कंसिस्ट कहीं ना कहीं घुस गया, स्मिच कर लिया अंदर टेस्ट
But
सीरीज
you're
में भी.
relying on Duckett and Crawley to fail. फिर आपको नहीं तो उन लोगों को नहीं निकाल सकता. किस बेसिस पे निकालेंगे? They've only lost one test match in 7 games. आपको कोई बेसिस ही नहीं रहेगा, तो they'll need to fail, and then बटलर को मौका मिलेगा. अगर नहीं तो आप मिडिल ऑर्डर पे देखना. मिडिल ऑर्डर में बेयरस्टो नहीं था, मगर मिडिल ऑर्डर में हैरी ब्रूक आ गया बेयरस्टो के जगह में. So फिर आप कहाँ फिट करेंगे उसको? Right, मेरे को तो ओपनिंग ही स्लॉट दिख रहा, because of the way Ben Stokes wants to play his cricket. He wants to play aggressive cricket, and Butler can make the most of it from ball one. So and you have batting to back him up again. मगर जो बटलर का पोजीशन है, in that middle order, you have Harry Brook there. Folks also has played a few games. He's there as a wicket keeper. You have plenty of options. Duckett has done really well. So where are you going to fit him in? That's going to be the question. That will be the thing. Does he suit Basball? Yes, does he will suit, and he will suit Ben Stokes' captaincy style and everything. लेकिन जगह मिलेंगी नहीं मिलेंगे वो अभी
अब
confirm नहीं
अगर
है. खेलेंगे
नहीं,
आप।
बट ये लॉन्ग शॉट होगा, बहुत ज्यादा लॉन्ग शॉट होगा, मतलब से जो रूट को नहीं निकाल सकते, बट जो रूट अगर फेल हुआ एक और सीरीज, देन मे बी जो रूट की जगह पे।
नहीं, जो रूट की जगह में नहीं निकाल सकते, बिकॉज जो आपको एक स्टेबिलिटी प्लेयर होना, राइट, पूरे खाली मारेंगे मारेंगे मार दौड़ करेंगे तो फिर नहीं होगा वैसा। यू नीड जो रूट एंड इज अ वेरी क्लास टेस्ट प्लेयर, तो उसको ड्रॉप करने, एंड ऑल हिज फोकस इज ऑन टेस्ट क्रिकेट। यस, ही इज जॉइन द आईपीएल एंड स्टफ, बट ही इज नॉट इन इंग्लैंड्स scheme of things, right, in the limited overs. So I let's see if he. I honestly feel Root is also an option for 50 overs in the World Cup. That's what
Yeah,
my personal opinion is, because he'll give you a few with the ball, and he plays spin well in Indian conditions. Also, he can accelerate when needed. तो मेरे हिसाब से जो रूट should be considered in white ball, लेकिन टेस्ट मैचेस में तो नहीं निकाल सकते उसको अभी। इट्स अ लॉन्ग शॉट, लाइक यू सेड, मैं कुछ भी हो सकता है विद बेन स्टोक्स, कोई भरोसा नहीं है, लेकिन I just feel that Butler's time is coming. It's coming slowly. It'll come in the test matches.
yeah,
Does Butler, of course, he'll want to play test cricket, but will that affect his limited overs with the one day coming up? Because he's solely focusing on white ball now, by not by choice, but he
2020
has,
होगा।
and
Yeah,
he's done so well, right? He's the T20 captain. He's the one day captain. So maybe he just wants to focus on limited overs. He wants to focus on the one day thing. Because क्या रहता मालूम test cricket में, especially England, India, like pressure बहुत रहता, like for a test cricketer. And if you're not performing, you go through a bad spell, it can really affect you. Even Ben
yeah,
Stokes had to leave a format. So maybe for Butler, it's his own fortune key. He's not playing test cricket and just focusing on that. But there's such a big tournament coming up. Maybe it's just better for him to play limited overs cricket. That could be an option as well.
yeah, maybe, or unless he goes and joins some county and then वहाँ पे थोड़ा prove कर ले अपने आप को, then maybe he can get back in there. तो है,
Mhm.
काफी अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी है आजकल अगर वैसा देख रहे हैं अपन, बढ़िया। अगर फॉर्मेट में फेल हुए तो मिजरेबल फीलिंग रह के, देन ही कुड एंड अप कॉजिंग मोर डैमेज, so that is
Yeah,
also
with the
hindsight.
World Cup coming up, maybe the sole focus should just be that for
Yeah,
him. Of course, they take the
100%.
Ashes very seriously, but Ben Stokes has a really good squad already for that he's building. So maybe
Yeah.
one player coming in won't make too much of a risk. Do you think England team management will be able to convince Stokes to make himself available for the World Cup? I believe they can do that, but it's up to Stokes now, whether he does it or not. Maybe he.
I think he will, Michael, after this World Cup win that he had under Phil, and that feeling of,
But he's already won that World Cup, the 50 over one as well. So
yeah, in the same
maybe.
style, yeah.
Yeah, he's won the 50 over, he's won the T20. Maybe he'll say, give some groom other players now. How much you're going to depend on me? Or he just makes a U-turn, drops T20, comes back to 50 over, and say one last time, let's do it for old time's sake. It also
Maybe.
depends on Butler's communication with him. Does Butler say, "Bhai, I need you to play. You have to be my all-rounder. Do anything." Then he'll do it, because I think they have the camaraderie. If your captain asks you, requests you, I think the player will respond. That's my opinion. Will Butler do it? Or of course, who wouldn't want Ben Stokes in his team? Lekin I think that clarity needs to come a bit sooner, because then Butler can create his team according to that, right? Because if you saw in the T20s, Butler knew at the back of the mind he Ben Stokes is going to play in the T20 World Cup, so he could make those arrangements and whatever. Right now, he doesn't know if he's going to play or not. तो इस हिसाब से आपको टीम बनाना है। अगर आपको मालूम है बैक ऑफ द माइंड कि बटलर ने स्टोक्स रहेगा वनडे स्क्वाड में, तो फिर आप उस हिसाब से आप खिला सकते हैं टीम को अभी, एंड विद द बैक ऑफ द माइंड कि दिस प्लेयर विल बी विद मी इन द 50 overs.
Yeah.
But they're already building replacements. Sam Curran is someone they're looking as the potential all-rounder, and they will have options.
Yeah, Brooks भी है,
Brooks, yeah, I mean, उन्हें भी कोने यारो लिविंगस्टन is your spinning
Winston
all-rounder.
है. Yeah.
He in India, those spinning all-rounders will always help you out. So they're building a team already. And yeah, what I just remembered was why I feel Butler might come, because Livingston has played Test cricket, right? So if he's played, then
Yeah,
under Stokes thing, then Butler always has a chance. Yeah,
and yeah,
so
I think Stokes also likes to change it up a bit. Like he tries to add a new flavor to the team and just to see what reactions he's getting. So I think वैसा भी उन्हें experiment करके एक बार डालेंगे बटलर को अंदर, कुछ भी करके ला ले सकते हैं.
one-day cricket, whether he plays one-day cricket will all depend on the communication he has with the captain, and if the captain requires.
And I think the need of the hour maybe as well. If his team is not firing in terms of 50 overs and he needs the Ben Stokes kind of an anchor, then maybe that also. And then like on a bowling all-rounder, batting all-rounder, then Ben
I
Stokes
think
will
for
fit
Stokes, the main focus right now in 2023 is to win that Ashes and contribute with the bat, ball, and as captain. If he wins the Ashes, he's completed cricket.
Won everything.
Because
Yeah,
for
himself.
England, what is the pinnacle? Your Ashes, then your World Cups. He's won 2 World Cups in different formats, and he'll win the Ashes. Apart from that, you could say maybe a tour to India, winning over there. Maybe that's something that you look at. Like for England cricketer,
Yeah.
he'll complete
Top 3.
everything
Yeah.
wins the Ashes like that in that style. He almost did that in the 2019. Like, and now he has an opportunity as captain. If he leads England to an Ashes series victory, then he's completed cricket. It'll be full circle for him, and I don't think there'll be much more. The 50 over will be another bonus. Of course, the way the athletes are these days, their winning mentality, they will want to win that 50 over World Cup as well. They want to dominate. England will want to dominate and they're already
Ashes,
known
yeah.
and they'll want to be known more. Imagine their legacy will be completely cemented if they win the 50 over World Cup again. They will
Yeah.
you start comparing them with Australia, वही हो जाएगा,
Yeah,
right?
the 2000 Australia. Yeah, 100%. I think, and I think all those questions on the last ball run. I still मेरे को तो अभी भी तीन चार मारता है न्यूजीलैंड के लिए वो जो रन कंप्लीट नहीं करा उन्हें. I still think that that was the worst thing, and I don't know how it's not been questioned. जो ने run complete नहीं करा and stuff like that.
मतलब
But
वो जो the one he dived and it went for the boundary, we got like 5 runs, that one you're talking about.
yeah, no, there was one double or triple, like a lot of plays. I think last run था वो. I think जो उन्हें नहीं भागा पूरा complete नहीं करा था run, and it came up in the media कि भाई न्यूजीलैंड वाले भी question नहीं करे. I don't know why, but yeah, वैसा कुछ problem दिख रहा था कि भाई इनला कैसा जीत गया World Cup. But yeah, I mean, he's won everything. Like, and the best thing in this whole two tournaments that you've mentioned is that he was the match winner, right? उन्हें मैच जिताया, उन्हें मैच विनर था. And I think Ashil में भी अगर उन्हें कुछ he gets his batting going, his bowling going, though captaincy alone is enough. But yeah, if he won,
He's won the Ashes in England, but like as captain, I'm saying the main guy, like he wants to be the guy who lifts that Ashes, the urn, like as captain. Then I think for him, yeah, of course, if you win in Australia, it'll be something. Of course, that'll be huge as well.
that'll be the biggest thing, man. Wow.
Yeah, like winning in Australia will be huge. But as captain, if he lifts that urn, I think it'll give him a lot of satisfaction, and especially if it's a full Australian team out there, it'll be a good competitive series, and he will definitely be remembered as captain lifting the urn. Then he'll kind of complete cricket. Of course, there will be always there'll be some things that you have not won, but he's done a lot already in his career, and
And
that's
he's
why
changed the biggest thing I think achievement for him is he's changed the temperament and the template and the mindset of English cricket. That is something that is the biggest achievement for me. Despite Basball and McCullum and everyone, and Ian Morgan को भी credit करना for starting it, but like I
100%.
think,
Owen Morgan is the main guy who's done this
but
because Ben Stokes had a reference point. Morgan didn't have a reference point. He went outside his country and found the New Zealand McCullum team. That was his inspiration. He's best friends with McCullum Morgan, right? And the reason why McCullum is coach is probably also Morgan probably spoke to him or whatever. They had a relationship. So I think Morgan gets the most credit because he
most
went
credit.
outside
But
of
again, taking that reference point and turning it, translating it, and believing in it, and not questioning it as a leader, despite whatever your failures were in the beginning. I think
Yeah,
that is
you're taking a
commendable as
risk.
well.
Ben Stokes is taking a risk because English media, English fans, they're very traditionalists when it comes to Test cricket. They want their cup of coffee and they want their 5-day game like on TV or in the stadium. If you see, even till now, England probably has the most crowd in Test matches, whether that's in Leeds, whether that's in Birmingham, in Old Trafford, in Lord's Oval. They always have a lot of crowd. To defy that logic in Test cricket, to implement that, it takes huge guts from Ben
Exactly.
Stokes.
Yeah.
Taken the guy who like started all this is Owen Morgan.
Yeah.
He's the reference point. That's what I was saying. So
Vinesh Bhai is speaking your language, bro.
I completely agree. Baba's declaration was just to show the people and for press conference, but Ish Sodhi was excellent today, but I was expecting more from Ijaz Patel. I completely agree 100%. ये press conference के लिए था वो declaration और क्या था भाई, ना आप जीतने वाले थे मैच ना कुछ करने वाले थे, you almost अपने पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मार दिए वाली बात हो गई थी almost. कोई स्कोप नहीं था जीतने का, वो डैंगल कैरेट कुछ नहीं डैंगल हो रहा था, जैसा फैज बोला खुद का डैंगल हो जा रहा था. लाइक दैट वाज द थिंग. इट वाज इतना प्रेशर सिचुएशन हो गया था कि अगर पूरे ओवर्स कंप्लीट हुए तो पता नहीं क्या होता था वो मैच
मतलब
में.
जब उन्होंने पिच पे आए उनको ऐसा लगा कि मैं बहुत बड़ा कप्तानी डिसीजन लिया, मैं स्माइल कर रहा हूँ, मैं लाइट हेडेड हूँ, आई एम अ कूल कैप्टन, आई एम एमएस धोनी. भाई 4 चौके पड़ते कि हो गए, अरे इमाम इधर आओ, अरे वजीर भाई उधर जाओ, टेंशन में आ गए. वो चिच्चा बाबर आजम के कैरेट में कट गई थी कैरेट जरे में. अगर एक आध 2 ओवर और 3-4 ओवर होने को बाद लाइट की चीज हो रही होती है, इफ दे स्टार्टेड टू गेट टुवर्ड्स 100 मोर, लाइक और 3 ओवर में 100 हो जाता था भाई, मजा
और
आया
भाई
ये
क्या मैसेज जा रहा है देखो, 5 डे पिच है और आप कितने रन खाए अभी लास्ट आधे घंटे में, 1 घंटे में कितने
हम्म,
रन खाए भाई 5 डे पिच पे, जहाँ पे बॉल टर्न हो रहा, ये हो रहा, वो हो रहा, उतना नहीं हो रहा था, लेकिन 5 डे पिच है, आप इतने मारा खाए क्यों? मतलब अपने बॉलर्स के कॉन्फिडेंस क्यों कम करना चाह रहे थे? जस्ट टू शो कि भाई नहीं, वी ट्राई टू गो फॉर द विन, देयर वाज नो वे यू वर गोइंग टू विन
yeah.
दैट मैच। आप मेरे को बोलो 15 ओवर में 10 विकेट लेते, पिंडा भी नहीं लेते, T20 क्रिकेट में भी नहीं होता वो। टेस्ट उन्हें अगर और
और
2 विकेट
पिच
जाते
के हिसाब से अगर देखें तो कोई विकेट भी नहीं जाना था, अगर वैसा
भाई,
देखा
अगर
तो।
और 2 विकेट जाते थे, विलियमसन आके लेट जाता था पिच पे, या सोधी आके डिफेंड कर देता था, दे वुड हैव नॉट लेट Pakistan. There was no way Pakistan was going to win the test match with the regulation. So there was nothing in there. It was a stupid decision. You're putting your team at risk at that time, and you're just trying to show कि भाई how मैं risk ले रहा हूँ। नहीं था कुछ भी उसमें। लेथम
लेथम बिना
बिना
लाइट के
लाइट
भी
के भी
तैयार,
तैयार
हाँ
था
वो
खेलने
लेथम
के
तो अब कितना बात करा,
लिए।
उन्हें
आने दो
रिटायर्ड।
बोल रहा,
या
आने दो
उन्हें बहुत
बोल रहा
ट्राई
था
करा,
उन्हें।
एम्पायर को बोले, एम्पायर को भी बोला भाई मैं खेलने तैयार हूँ, आपको क्या है भाई, फास्ट बॉलर डालने दो, कुछ भी डालने दो। बट यार लेथम मेरे लिए बहुत स्पेक्टेकुलर खेला, फर्स्ट इनिंग्स में भी वही था। बट प्लेयर ऑफ द मैच फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान पर्सपेक्टिव, मुस्तफा, फॉर यू? फॉर मी सरफराज।
I was going to go Surface, but he dropped, man. Williamson, he made
या
mistakes.
बट अगेन वो ड्रॉप को रिडीम करा उन्हें इन टर्म्स ऑफ दैट इनिंग्स दैट ही प्लेड एट 50 वाज वेरी क्रूशियल।
बट यार वो
अगर
सब
उन्हें
मार देते 50s वो पिच पे, ऐसा नहीं है कि वो
पिच
नहीं
पे
चल रहा
मारना
था।
ठीक है, अब ब्रो अगर आप बैक लाइक विकेट गई, आप 4 डाउन, क्या 5 डाउन है, बाबर भी चले गया, हिम एंड साउथ शकील इनिंग्स वर पिलरिस्टिक, पूरा वहां खड़ना लाइक इट्स नॉट
सोधी भी
मुश्किल
मारा यार वो
बट
50 वो टाइम पे, लाइक विलियमसन को सपोर्ट करके, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ सोधी दे गॉट अ लीड। Look, I know where you're coming from, and I mean, it's not like you're wrong. That's correct what you're saying, but I just wouldn't go with Sarfaraz because he didn't have the best of games behind the stumps, and he's playing as a wicketkeeper. You have to take those chances, and if he takes those chances, New Zealand are under pressure, and you get your team to win the game. So I don't know who to give Pakistan's man of the match. I don't know. Like I just feel that overall
अबरार अबरार को दे दो।
they were not impressive, man. Pakistan.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to choose anybody. So
Yeah,
yeah.
this guy's a talent, man. South Shakir is a very good talent,
Yeah, Vinesh,
technically
you've said
gifted,
this from
skills
day
behind
one
him.
of the England Test series, and I completely agree with you. I've seen him in the Qaeda Azam Trophy as well, and he's impressed me. And I said also, like last year, I mean, off air, I was telling my friends that they should really give Saud Shakil a chance, and he looks very good today. Again, he looked very, very, solid at the crease. A very good test batsman, and hopefully, he performs like this overseas as well, and he gets backed. He needs to get back.
Hmm.
क्या है वो फवाद आलम उसको नहीं बैक करे बराबर, he's had a double century। पहले 10 साल तो ज्यादती करे, उसको एग्जाइल में डाल दिए, फिर जब चांस दिए उन्हें 200 मारा या सेंचुरी मारा था न्यूजीलैंड में, उसके बाद उसको बैक ही नहीं करे, लाइक जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ फ्यू पोर परफॉर्मेंसेस इन पाकिस्तान। दिस गाय यू हैव टू बैक हिम, इवन इफ ही डजंट परफॉर्म इन अ फ्यू सीरीज, यू हैव टू बैक हिम। बट आई विल बी इंटरेस्टेड टू सी उन्हें कैसा परफॉर्म करता है ओवरसीज कंडीशंस में, जहां पे थोड़ा सा बॉल हिलेगा या एक्स्ट्रा बाउंस रहेगा।
Hmm.
आई थिंक ही हैज द टेक्निक, सो आई विल बी लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू हिम, एंड आई थिंक ही विल परफॉर्म। बट हाँ विनेश भाई, आप बिल्कुल सही बोलें कि भाई साउथ शकील इज अ प्लेयर टू वॉच आउट फॉर श्योर।
100%. And like you said, he just needs backing. But yeah, with time, I think if he gets the right backing, his decision making will be better. He goes for the sweep shot a bit too much in my thing, the way I've looked at it. And he ends up edging the ball and getting out. But like, agar unhe kahin, spinny track mein khela, तो it will be interesting to see how he plays that shot. बाबर को
बाबर
दो
को
इनिंग्स में, सॉरी, बाबर को सेकंड इनिंग्स में क्या हो जाता है, बाबर आजम को सेकंड इनिंग्स में कुछ नहीं होता है, बस एक्साइटमेंट हो जाती है और कुछ नहीं, जल्दी जाना
बहुत
था
अच्छा
घर।
पॉइंट है ये, बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट है। काफी लोग निकालते हैं ये पॉइंट, इवन पाकिस्तानी जर्नलिस्ट भी
या
निकालते हैं जो क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं बाबर की, भाई उसके मैच विनिंग रन्स नहीं आ रहे, लाइक प्रेशर में रन्स नहीं आते उसके। ठीक है, एक दो ने चेस करा, लाइक विद रिजवान इन द T20s, he's chased a few totals, like in the semi-final he batted well against New Zealand, लेकिन second innings when the pitch is a bit up and down, उसके runs नहीं आ रहे वहां पे, and you want to see that, he's your main batsman, he's your best batsman, you want him to you want to see him perform in that situation. And it wasn't that tough of a pitch. It's not like Utta Upar Niche tha and stuff. So slightly disappointing. I would like to see more match-winning knocks from Babar because I feel he's a great batsman, wonderful. Like when he plays his shots, he's pleasing to
yeah,
the eye.
the
Uske
first
cover
innings was really good. Yeah, the
cover
first
drive
point was good.
प्यारे रहते, मगर वही है फर्स्ट इनिंग runs and not under pressure. Yeah, ठीक है, you could say he was under pressure. He did counter attack, so I'll give him the credit in this game. They were 4 down and he counter attacked and he built that
Partnership.
partnership with Sarfaraz. So I'll be too critical to say he doesn't score under pressure. He does score, but you would like to see more match winning innings.
No, critical in terms of not like this kind of pressure where you have a thing. I think what you're coming from is obviously like finishing off the game, that kind of runs, probably match winning runs, and yeah,
First,
you don't get that very often.
our old squad is joining us. So first, just put a reminder of
Yeah.
the show tonight, just so that they join us today, 10:30 India time. We'll do ICC team reviews. I don't know what we're gonna do with the India 11, because it's basically thing. But yeah, we'll do the World 11s, and then we'll discuss the India team and everything.
Shahid was the one who saved them from England during ODI series last year as well, giving bowlers runs to defend, and all Pakistani batsmen still they dropped him. Yeah,
We
Pakistan का तो
dropped him
समझ में
after
नहीं
that.
आता.
I remember that, and that was like such a stupid move. And that's what I'm scared about in the test matches
Yeah,
as well.
this point Chirag bhai has been discussed,
Yeah,
and
we've
yeah,
discussed this, Chirag bhai. There was no point of the declaration. बिल्कुल फजूल का declaration था वो, और अपने पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मार दिया almost उन्हें बाबर आजम. There was no point of the declaration. For me, Shan Masood is so overrated when he was out of team, scoring runs, and now he's getting chance but couldn't capitalize. What do you think? Hurak, Kamran, Ghulam, and Usman Saliuddin are waiting. Yes. Hurera, I've
Cameron
heard a
Gulam.
lot about him. He's done really well in the Qaeda Azam as well. Very good domestic, performances. His average is really high as well. I think close to 50, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm really looking forward to him. I think he should be given a chance. And yes, Shan Masood, ठीक है, काउंटी क्रिकेट खेला, ये वो खेला, but उसको chances देते रहते, उन्होंने runs बनाता इधर उधर, लेकिन वो consistency नहीं है, वो match winning contribution उतना नहीं दिखता उसके तरफ से भी. तो इट्स टाइम टू गिव दिस गाइस अ चांस. देखो, साउथ शकील को आप बैक कर रहे हैं, इसको भी बैक करो, होरेरा को. कामरान गुलाम आल्सो, आई हैव हर्ड हिज नेम. आई हैवंट सीन हिम. होरेरा आई हैव सीन some highlights. Usman Saliuddin also I've heard. I haven't seen, so I will check them up and do some more research. But these names I've heard about them.
Yeah,
They've been
Kamran Gulam
performing.
to has played lately a lot of 50 over matches, also domestic, and उसके
Yeah,
centuries.
Horeira
I think
I've heard a lot. And
दो
I
तीन
actually want.
centuries back to back मारा, and then I think 90 कुछ मारा था उन्हें. I think वही domestic season में हो रहा है सब. It's that I think this monitoring from Pakistan has to be much better in terms of the domestic talent. You see the example of Abrar Ahmed, he performed in PSL,
Yeah.
or he performed thing, and he got his opportunity, and rightfully he's providing. So I think they need to be a bit more faster in their process of changing out players.
Yeah, and I was just talking about Mohammad Arra's average. It's not 50, it's 64. So he's knocking on that
Whoa.
door. So he's knocking on the door. First class average is around 64. So I really want to see him, and I've seen him bat as well in the domestic. He's a very good talent. Have you discussed captaincy of Saudi? He, along with Wagner, should clean the tail. Yes, we haven't discussed that. We should have discussed that. We discussed that they should have cleaned the tail, but the captaincy in particular, Fez, you did mention that थोड़ा सा spice करना था, थोड़ा सा field changes करना था. You mentioned it indirectly. We might have not taken Saudi's name, but we did mention कि भाई they should have cleaned up the tail, and that's where you also said that they need an express pace bowler in these conditions, New Zealand.
Yeah, 100% for me. It was like, see, chalo, I get it. It was his debut test match, and it was his first time being a captain and stuff. But he's been around the corridor of cricket for a long, long time. I think he knows the exact कैसा match को change कर सकते. He's seen it all in his career, and I think I would expect a lot from him in terms of experience. जो उन्हें gain करा, a lot more action on the pitch. I know it was a flat surface. I know the pitch was not providing, but that is where we use other strategies of psychological warfare हो गया, या field change करो, घुसा दो, मुंह में घुसा दो. जब आप ऑलरेडी आप इस सोदी अच्छा डाल रहे थे आप. इस सोदी डाल रहा था अच्छा खासा. 7 डाउन हो गए थे वो लोग, एंड देन आप बस फिर वही टेम्पलेट ऑफ वही बोरिंग क्रिकेट चल रहा था, वही आप आरे डाल रहे. You didn't try changing it up. Try getting Kane Williamson to bowl, no problem, man. Just do something different, I think. And like I said, like all the experience that he has, he didn't implement that in his strategy, so it just looked like a very basic play it out kind of a situation. The only thing that spiced it up was that informal declaration that Babar Azam tried to play Babar as ball, but it didn't sort of work. Babar as ball is the new Baz ball. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, it was very basic captaincy, nothing really
Yeah.
wow
So
factor.
you had to keep patience in the test match. Credit to you. You tried to always look at the positives, and you felt that New Zealand still had the chance even after that declaration. And
I got
they
excited. I got
it
excited. I
was
was like,
exciting though. I wouldn't lie. Like even though I told you it's still going to be a draw, it was exciting. The way they were batting. I'm not going to lie. It was fun to watch that. I was just sad that अंधेरा हो गया, and he knew that अंधेरा होने वाला है भाई. उन्हें जैसे
अरे भाई
पता था.
ग्लेन फिलिप्स को खिला देना. ग्लेन फिलिप्स आके 6 छक्के कुछ तो ही मार देना था. लेकिन yeah,
Yeah.
again, I'm just thinking of other scenarios.
Yeah, so it's good that you're trying to find opportunities, and that's what you need to do. Look, it was a boring test match, and you were looking as a viewer, you're trying to spice it up yourself. You're trying to find
Yeah,
ways where New Zealand can win, how a team can win the game, right? And that's what you want to see as a viewer as well. So good stuff there. You kept us also involved in it because otherwise it was pretty boring test
yeah,
match.
it was. Yeah, I was pretty, but then I voice messaged immediately मुस्ताक यार बार बार declare कर दिया 15 ओवर में हो सकता है and I know New Zealand have hitters man, but I was just
और
like
20 रन
curious.
कम दिया, आप बोले 15 ओवर में 150
हाँ,
होना चाहिए, 130 था तो 20 रन कम
yeah,
दिया हमने। तो
30 रन
ऑन
कम
था
दिया because 2 ओवर डक हो जाया था ना, 2 ओवर डक भी हो गए थे शायद because of
या
the change. तो
या
yeah,
ऑन हो सकता था चेस, लेकिन विद द कंडीशंस विद एवरीथिंग यू न्यू दैट इट इज नॉट गोना हैपन।
yeah, and your
तो
light was a very big factor. Yeah, that was the only factor.
Yeah, Faz, that wraps it up. I will catch you in a few hours. What is it? 3.5 hours to be exact. At 10:30 India time, we will be discussing the World 11s. We'll do T20 test and one day we'll probably put up the cricket for once and then we can dissect that and give our opinions. जो भी हमारे साथ जुड़े, आप भी अपने 11s बना लो और बताइए कि क्या है. There's no right or wrong in
आप
this. हम डिस्कस
आप
करेंगे, झगड़ा करेंगे, आर्ग्यू करेंगे, मगर कोई सही गलत नहीं है, कुछ भी हो
आप
सकता
अपना
है.
11th बना लो, सर्दी का मौसम है, चाय बना लो, कॉफी बना लो, पॉपकॉर्न बना लो एंड जस्ट एंजॉय द शो. Hopefully
Yeah.
we can get a lot of knowledge from you guys as well and we'll try to bring up whatever tipperies we have. And कोई सही नहीं है, कोई गलत नहीं है, सबके अपने opinions है, सबके opinions respect करना. We like today me and Mustafa learned about Herrera and all of these guys. We just heard about them, but we all get knowledge, we all gain knowledge from the show and we gain knowledge from you guys. तो आइए बैठिए एंड जस्ट चुस्के लिए मस्के लिए और हमें नुस्खे दिए और खाना खाइए whatever and enjoy the show.
Yeah, we will catch you in 3.5 hours, guys. Thank you so much for joining, everybody, and thank you, Fez, for your contribution. I will catch you in a bit. Take care, guys, and have a good evening. See you in the night.